Welcome in, flow and charts. If you're new to this, feel free to drop flow requests. We just look at option flow in real time, look over different things like the dashboard, the different unusual whales dashboards, market tide, Periscope, so on. Do some charting requests as well. I like to kind of start out with some of our tracked flow alerts here. So we only had one today. I will touch on Avgo from yesterday. So Avgo had a gap up today, a pretty big gap up. So I ended up swinging some of these too, and I'm down. I'm still holding them though, because that whale's still in, and they do have some time on there. They're not too significantly down where I'm scared, but yeah, these looked good yesterday, but whale looks to still be in those. And then Nvidia calls today. Here these came in a little earlier. So again, these are just the tracked flow alerts here. So anything in that risky flow channel is not tracked. So Nvidia's here. Let's just remove this and take a peek at them. If I could properly use this, that would help. Internet is being really slow today, so apologies in advance. But here's your Nvidia here. Spots filling with the ask. IV spikes when it comes in. Repeated hits. Does not overlap earnings. 31 days out, so a little I'd say maybe more midterm on these here. Just kind of looking at that IV. IV stays up. Little drop there, but it's only on 11 contracts. Not a significant chunk of the trade there. Again, IV's staying up. Spots filling with the ask. And even on the one little contract here, so I mean, you do technically get an IV spike there. Again, just the one contract, not super noticeable, but again, you just kind of see that small little IV increase there at the end there. I would have liked to see that on kind of the larger size, but again, looks pretty good overall there. And yeah, I mean these are slightly up here. They were up about 10% for me a little bit ago, 345, trading about that 365, 370-ish in there. So should be green for anybody that took those. Plenty of time on those too. Other than that, yeah, very quiet tracked flow alerts there. Let's take a peek at the market tide. And this is still a pretty bearish market tide here. Your put premiums are just continuing to climb here. All put premiums and out of the money only put premiums continuing to climb, and they're pretty much in tandem here. Your calls, all calls just turned bid side here, so would be considered selling pressure there. And out of the money only calls pretty bid side here too. And you just haven't really seen that big pop in those premiums to kind of support any of these moves up here. And your big contributors here to market tide right now, LITE, SPY, and Avgo, and then put premium contributors Tesla, QQQ, and Apple. And I see a lot of people talking about that 413 QQQ 573 put. These things are running a little bit here now. I mean, I just get scared when I see a bunch of FinTwit people talking about the same contract. But yeah, these look like they're kind of running there as well. 2% out of the money, 6 days. Probably looking for escalation tonight between Iran and U.S. That would be my assumption there. Let's see. What did you drop for me? Being the MGMs are up. Ooh, let's take a peek. Let's take a peek. Ooh, let's see. Oh, man, yeah, those are up pretty nice. They're 354 trading at that 390, up about 20% there. Plenty of time on those. Yeah, that was a good piece of flow that we found yesterday on those. You get your IV spike there. Your spot price is increasing. It looked pretty good, and our chart also did not look horrible as well. So yeah, good find there yesterday on those. And again, that goes to show you don't need 1,000 trades. You found one there, and you had a good 20% there. If you would have swung those, I mean, good move. Plenty of time on those too. Let's see. So Periscope, where are we sitting at right now? So we're sitting on this 65.60 right now. So positive gain. We might see that price kind of slow down a little bit here, but kind of looks like a lot of that previous 6600 gamma has decreased as well there too. So that is typically a bearish sign there. You can see that 30 minutes ago. I mean, it's just been significantly decreasing there, and got a lot of negative gamma right here too. So the 6560 spot looks to be our important holding spot right now. Looks like price is kind of trying to stall there a little bit. Not a lot of gamma below us there, so I'm curious to see how we kind of finish the day here. Call premiums or outputs are kind of ticking up a little bit there too, and yeah, back on the market side, yeah, a lot of that put volume, negative volume, whatever you want to call it, there, very heavy there too. So it's not the best looking feed there, especially if you're trying to go long. Flow. Oh, I tried to trade. I gotta show you guys this. The intels from earlier. I tried to scalp these. I got in, and this is why it was in that risky flow too. I want to kind of show you guys here, because this looked. It was kind of one of those kind of coin flip ones for me. And if you guys got any questions about any of that flow that goes in that risky flow too, feel free to just let me know and I can take a peek at it. But this is how it came in here. So you had that IV decrease and it increased again there. Just kind of a mixed signal I'm getting there too. I did fill out the ask. At the time we were up, obviously pretty high at the day there. But these, I mean, I got a discounted entry on these two. I got it at like 85, and I was like, I'll ride these up a little bit, and then I ended up getting out down in here, and then made up for it on some quick Periscope scalps, and the Nvidia call pretty much brought me back to break even on the day. But yeah, I mean, these kind of came back there. I mean, 77 there, nothing super good there. Other than that, yeah, I mean, the flow has just been pretty quiet. We had those Palantir short call or the weekly calls coming again. Again, anything that's that weekly and very selective with that flow, just with that Iran deadline stuff today. I don't want to be too heavily positioned there, but these at the time, let's just take a peek. So again, I mean your IV spikes, but then you just kind of see how that IV's kind of bouncing around in there. Your spots filling at the ask. Just again, not the best looking tape. There just hasn't been that much good looking tape, but I mean, goes to show you here, just because that IV decreases or bounces around doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna not profit. Because I mean, that those popped pretty quick there. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, yeah, flow's been very quiet here today. I the Yeah, we can take a peek at NLK. One more thing about Avgo here, quick, before we kind of move on. This also is the reason why I kind of decided to stay in my Avgo puts too. Just look at all those puts kind of coming in here. It's just it's very odd, I'd say. I mean, very unusual that you're continuing to see puts come in. So I'll hold those for a little bit. Still have some time on those. But yeah, let's take a peek at Noke. I don't know if I had anything hit my feed on that today, but let's just see. Oh, I did. I lied. Sorry. So the 12, 18, 15 call getting some action here. These are going to be kind of far out of the money. So earnings in 16 days. We have a repeat hits ascending fill. Let's take a peek here. So it looks like, so we do have some previous open interest. Okay, it doesn't really look like anything. Okay, so original whale here. Looks like they passed them off to somebody there, and then that second whale's still in there. So this does look like an ad today here. Let's just see. 6081. So yep, this flow looks pretty good here. Good find there, Pipsy. IV's increasing here. Again, you get the very clear easy one here. Ascending fill, IV increase. I mean, you can't get pretty much more textbook than that. See what else we got coming in on Noke there. So it looks like that 15 call, the 1016 also again kind of tagged a little bit here. A lot of that open interest coming in, or looks like from the 23rd. So let's just kind of go back and take a peek. So that 23rd, so 53. Was this all coming in at once today? This one I would assume most of this volume would carry over on this one. I would just want to double check there just because you don't. I mean, you have 5,000 contracts there, which is slightly lower than the total open interest, but it doesn't look like. Oops. I don't see another 5,000 candle in here. I lied right here that from 323. So I would just want to confirm and see if that carries over there. But you also kind of have that little 2,000 contract add there too. So I would just double check that open interest in the morning there. I would assume most of it should probably carry over. Oh, excuse me. Oh, big yawn, man. I'm tired. But overall, kind of doing a face value look here. Yeah, your highest volume contracts are all heavily ask side flow coming in on the call side. So I would say I like those the 12, 18, 15 calls there for sure. Yeah, lot. Yeah, that's very, very. I wonder what they've got. I want to see what else they got here. Quick, let's see. Yeah, I mean that big day was back there. Yeah, I mean that's very unusual flow, and it looks like a lot of your highest open interest contracts too are pretty ask sidey here. 77. Oh, geez. Well, this only goes back so far. Yeah, nothing on that one. Yeah, I would say that the highest volume contract. So just besides that, 1016, I double check that open interest. But yeah, I would say it looks pretty bullish here overall, and your gamma on this as well. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty in line here. Nothing really super out of the ordinary there. And all your net gamma is on the call side. So yeah, I would say these look pretty good here. Pretty good. All right, let's see. Let's catch up on the chat here. Oh man, when we try to give Hank a bath, you have no idea how bad that is. He is not a bath person, and we usually cut his nails when we give him a bath. He is not into that. I'll tell you that right now. Lilu, the QQQ, the 573s. Yeah, I think these are interesting to me. I mean, they already kind of popped a little bit there. There's really only two ways I see this one playing out. This is a massive hedge going into tonight, or this is a very strong directional bet there. It's just kind of one of those. I mean, this is only 2% of that total premium on QQQ today too. So I mean, you see it's a huge premium, but it's only 2% of that total premium. I mean, there's a lot of bearish premium coming into the Qs right now. Holdings as well. It's like I'm trying to think of a way to kind of like say it without saying it. Like this is you essentially betting on more escalation with Iran and the U.S. tonight. Like you're kind of trying to. I'm just trying to choose my words carefully. You're essentially hoping that there's escalation and there's some bombs dropped and oil spikes more. It's it's a very fine line for me. I mean, this flows. It's gonna probably all read as a buy too if we look at it, just because of the way it's kind of coming in there. I just get nervous when I see like FinTwit and all them people talking about the same contract because typically once FinTwit's kind of aware of something, it seems like that contract doesn't always necessarily work out. But this is definitely either, I mean, it's a very strong directional bet, or it's a very big hedge going into it. Again, we don't know, that's the thing. But I'm just kind of looking at the flow as it comes in here. We'll come down here and just kind of start. I mean, you just kind of see that IV kind of increasing here when it comes in, spots filling at the ask. I mean, your IV's popping when the big chunks of that flow are coming in, and it's all different timings, and you're not going to get the cleanest read on that IV either, just because QQQ is moving all over here. I mean, you're trading within, I mean, about a $1.50, $2 range right now, so that you're not getting the best read on this. But I mean, just kind of looking at this flow here, I would assume it's a buy to open there. Again, just kind of with ETFs and knowing that the Iran deadline stuff is supposed to happen tonight, it could be a hedge going into it. And obviously, I'm gonna look stupid tomorrow if we drop 3% during the day, and or we gap down 3% overnight because somebody dropped bombs on the country. Like it's so hard to just kind of read the flow based off knowing what's supposed to happen geopolitically tonight there. I mean, for all we know, we could get an announcement at 7 o'clock tonight, an hour before the deadline, and the date could get pushed out another 10 days, and the market would like that. So, I mean, it's just, you have to be cautious. You can't just see something and automatically assume, oh, this is massive premium. This is going to absolutely print tonight or tomorrow. It could be a hedge going into it. So, I mean, the flow looks good. I would just be cautious knowing that you're essentially looking for the US to escalate tonight. That's kind of the way that I see it, because the theta on these is probably up there a little bit. And I'm sure, yeah, Ivy's up there too. I mean, you're gonna lose if we don't move at all. You're gonna lose 73 cents on that contract there, and that's, and if you get a gap up tomorrow, yeah, these contracts will get ate up very, very quickly. So I mean, just be very, very cautious. I mean, I could look very stupid tomorrow, and there could be a 3% gap down, or I'll look like a genius and we'll have a gap up, and there'll be some sort of ceasefire or some type of postponement of stuff. It's just, you don't know what's going on there. That's the thing. So there's only a couple people in the world that truly know what's being talked about and at the White House and all that right now, and you can't trust the headlines that are coming out because it's so back and forth. You have one headline, ceasefire, next one, no ceasefire, we're talking, we're not talking. It's just so hard to kind of get a good read on everything. All right, let's see the contract that you dropped for me, Bean. So yeah, just quickly on that QQQ one more time. I would say it's interesting, but I would be very, very cautious because with all the headline risk. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, see, like we just got a piece of news right now. Here, let me pop it up on the Twitter here. Let me go in here. Where was it? I think, nope, not Unusual Whales. I think it was this guy. Nope, it was Financial Juice. 1 second. I got 10 different news things. So, like, here, we just got this 50 seconds ago. Pakistan Prime Minister requests Trump to extend the Iran deadline for 2 weeks. Again, there's just so many moving parts and so many different changing headlines. You don't know. And I mean, there's your pop. There's your pop on the news. I mean, that's, if you are not cautious and just trying to get in something to get into something, that's where it's going to hurt you there. All right, let's look at Bean's contract here. Sorry to kind of go off on a tangent there, but you have to know it. I mean, there's people not talking about it, and they're just, oh, this says this says that. Like, and again, just because, sorry, one more thing, and then I'll go get to your contract, I promise, Bean. This does not necessarily mean that there's gonna be an extension or anything. Just doesn't necessarily mean that. So, all right, let's see. So Bean's contract here. So the IRDM 50, 51540 call. So definitely opening the volume. Always giving me the fun ones here. Let's take a peek at this guy though. So these are definitely, like you said, interesting here. So, okay, this is where our flow looks like it starts to kind of come in about that 1325, we'll say. And it looks like we had some earlier before, too. So let's look at the earlier stuff quick first. So nice IV spike on those. That spot is filling with the ask. Just kind of looking, just not a lot of contracts traded here, but just kind of looking at what we have right now. So I mean, yeah, that's interesting there, because at the time, again, not a lot of volume on these. Then you have just kind of some trailing stuff in here. Trailing stuff. Let's get to our big guy here. So when this one comes in here, you have a good IV spike. That spot is, it's almost a mid-fill there, so we'll keep that in mind. Let's just follow this up. So then you get that. So we're getting the repeated hits descending fill. Let's just see where that is. So it looks like it's on the one contract there. The one contract, not a huge deal. Let's see. I don't like how that IV decreases when it comes in. Let's just keep following it up though. We're at the 82, 87. IV's filling it, or we're filling the ask there. So it looks like that bid ask widens a little bit there, but pretty much filling at that same 150. Then your IV kind of drops again here. Kind of drops. It's kind of looking, still filling with that 150. Yeah, this one, I don't get a super good feeling about this one. Just you have that kind of continuous IV decrease, then it decreases here again, then it decreases again there. I almost want to say these look like call cells here. What are these? 20% out of the money? It 38 days. Do these overlap earnings? Let's see. 16 days. So yeah, you have the earnings overlap. Yeah, there's just kind of a little too much going on within that flow for me. I'd almost want to say short calls on those, just the way with that kind of bid and the spot was moving around and that IV was kind of dropping. We're up almost 2% on the day too. Again, you don't know. It could be a earnings play here. Well, let's just look at earnings, what they do. Earnings, earnings, earnings. So historically, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of mixed for earnings here when it hits that implied move. I mean, it's about a 50-50 coin flip on if you get a move up or down, and that is a pretty big expected move, almost a 16% expected move there. Even with that 16% expected move, if we don't move from this point there, I mean, they're still technically out of the money there. Um, yeah, those just kind of the way that they're structured. I would probably pass on those. I almost would want to lean short calls on those, just with the way that's coming. When you get those kind of that ask to a mid side, then to a bid side, it just not the cleanest read on something like that there. All right, let's see. Let's catch up here. And let's see. Catching up, catching up. Yeah, no, and M1, you are 1,000% correct on that too. I always will say that cash is a position. Sitting on cash is a position. You don't always have to be in a trade. That's the thing. A lot of people just want to be in something. They always have to be in a trade. Cash is a position. Cash is a smart position as well too. When you have constant different headlines coming in constantly, and you don't know what's going to happen, and it's tough. You don't need to trade every single day. Okay, let's see. NTR. Let's take a peek. Let's take a peek at this. NTR. So today, premium wise, not really much. Let's see, what do we got for flow? So it looks like you got a lot of bid side calls coming in on this. Probably taking them off this. Let's just kind of go back and take a peek. Just kind of a lot in here. I wonder if these were potentially shorted at some point in there. I mean, you just see how much volume there is before here. Just not really anything you can see in something like that. We can take a peek at this though, and just kind of take a gander. Yeah, it looks like they're probably getting sold there. I mean, you're getting a big IV drop there. They're filling the bid there. They're probably closing out of a position, it looks like. Don't know from when or where though. I mean, could be cutting them for yeah, it could be possibly cutting them for a loss there. It's just hard to know. I mean, there's just a lot kind of going on with that one. Anything else today on that? How about that 618.80 call? Getting a lot of kind of open interest on this one already. Let's just see. Yeah, you just see all that kind of noise in here. Just kind of too much stuff going on. I mean, this is only 866 contracts, and you just see a lot of kind of bigger other volume days. Just not really much on that. How about anything open interest wise? Let's see. So that 80 call is the one we looked at there. How about that 618.80 call? That's the one we looked at there too. How about this 10-day one? This, let's see, 145. These almost look like they're probably possibly short. Okay, when do these 312 and 316? 312 and 316. So okay, so our original whale here on 3.6, you see all that volume carry over. You see the big volume there on 3.12, not a big open interest change, and that volume there on 3.16, not a big open interest change. And you just kind of see some other little volume days in here as well too. This whale sold these to somebody else, so somebody else is holding these contracts. This whale sold these at, looks like about that 575 and 191-ish area. I mean, you see those big spikes there, and those are those days where that volume did not carry over, and maybe took some small profits in there as well too. But somebody else is holding these contracts now. And again, that's why it's always key to kind of take a peek at that actual flow there, because if you just look at that open interest, you would assume this that original whale is still in, because you see that open interest still sitting there. But clearly we have contracts changing hands here, because you got 2,000 on the day, 1,600 there. I mean, 900 that next day. I mean, just a lot of volume, but just not significant open interest changes. So this whale sold for profits, and if you're just going based off the open interest alone, you would be getting crushed right now. So I mean, it's always important to kind of just go back and see, especially when there's that previous open interest. But yeah, nothing really new on NTR. How's the gamma kind of look on it? Gamma, yeah, it's been getting a lot of positive gamma, but we're kind of extended above that. Yeah, a lot of net call gamma there too. Yeah, I mean, gamma wise, it's looking good there. I wouldn't trade it just strictly based off the gamma. Just kind of something nice to know though. Anything interesting in the open interest? That 80 call. Let's go back here. 80 call. Yeah. So any of those 80 calls have a lot of open interest on them. So it's split between those two, it looks like. What kind of changed here? So let's see, that 618.80 call had kind of a lot of open interest. Oh wait, no. 382. Okay, that's why I was like, what is going on there? So okay, previous day volume. Okay. So yeah, you had 300 added to that. Yeah, so not really seeing any significant like sizing adds. Yeah, I would say I'm not really seeing much on there. Just a lot of kind of previous maybe kind of contracts changing hands on that one. All right, let's see what else we got coming in here. Okay, I can close Twitter now. I don't need to keep looking at this stupid thing. So we are. So we'll get an update here in about a minute on Periscope here. Yeah, sorry to not find anything on it. I mean, that's usually how it goes. So you won't always find something flow wise. But it's nice to look and kind of learn in the process there. All right, should get our update on Periscope here in about a second or two. I'm keeping an eye on that 6600 to see if that grows or shrinks or what it does, because this is our only big gamma spike here. You do have some gamma building up here. I just want to see how that reacts here when it updates here. I just don't want to go to a different tab because it's going to update and then I'm going to miss it here. I don't think we missed the update yet. We'll give it another second or two here. Because you know, right when I flip to another tab, it's gonna update, and then I like for people to see that actual live update on it. Oh, see, there we go. There's your update. So all of that positive gamma down here dropped off there. So this is your biggest position up here at 6600, and this grew extremely here. And again, price likes to kind of come up to that here. We'll see what happens here. I mean, I would be kind of I'd keep an eye on this 6600 level. That price wants to kind of gravitate towards that that positive gamma there. We'll see how we finish there. And you are seeing a good spike in that net call premium and put premiums dropping there. We'll come back and revisit this in a little bit here. 230. Now you can see those call premiums kind of ticked up there on that news too, but put premiums didn't really drop too much there on that market tide. ETF flow, let's see. Yeah, no, Pipsy, I know. There's just a lot of people that expect you to constantly find good flow. Like, you're not going to find good flow all the time. Like, it's very... Again, I tell people about 90% of the flow that I look at is junky. So it teaches you what to pretty much look for to avoid taking bad trades, I'd say more so. But actually I'm just gonna pop it over here and look. I don't have my broker open. Okay, yeah, dang. So do I want to take a little? So I'm probably up, let's see, 3, 4, 50, 6. Oh, I'm probably up 20% on these now. Man, I almost want to take a. All right, I'm gonna set a stop here. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm just gonna set a stop here because I didn't realize I was going to get this good of a return that same day on these. So I'm going to just set a stop on these here and sell these that same day. So I mean, again, like you just see how I'm kind of trading. Like I got in these today. They're 31 days out. These are up almost 20%. I'm going to secure some profits. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. Nobody does. These could run another 10% to 10, 20% tomorrow. That's okay. That's okay. I'm being smart. I'm gonna set my stop. Actually, I'm going to set my stop at that 385. So if we drop down to that, I'm gonna fill at that. So give me 1 second. Okay. But I mean, securing the profit. I mean, you're up 20% in a very volatile market where there's more than likely going to be escalation tonight, barring a last minute 11th hour deal or something. Secure your profits. Don't risk it just hoping that something's going to go up more. I mean, that's dang. I really like these, but and again, they're 31 days out. Great. If you still like the flow tomorrow and the gap's down like 3%, at least you secured some profits today. And you can recycle those profits and get back in if you truly love the flow still. Oh, I'm going to probably get stopped out here, yeah. I'll probably get stopped out. Didn't fill. Interesting. Let's look at these oracles. These are some long-dated oracles. They're big multi-leg on these, though. big multi-leg. So let's just kind of take a peek. So these, we're at that 57. Okay, so it looks like this is your big multi-leg part here. So it's a little messier multi-leg. A lot of bid side calls, ask side calls, ask side put, bid side put there. I don't mess with multi-legs. I'm not a fan of them. I'm just kind of looking at that internals here too. Even with that multi-leg, I probably wouldn't take these. And then you also have some more bid side up in here too. Yeah, I don't mess with multi-legs. I'm not a fan of them. Flow is already difficult enough to figure out and hope that it's going in the correct direction. Adding multi-legs to it is a whole nother fun task to try to deal with. These Hertz, so these Hertz made a move. They're 31, trading at 47. So looking at this, we have 3,000 contracts coming in here at the ask. We do have 10,000 previous contracts traded on the day. This is one that you'd have to wait for that open interest to update, either barring any other big candles in here. That open interest, if this is a add here, you would look for that open interest to be a tick above that, probably 21,000-ish or so there. Now, if they took some profits there, you're going to take off about 3,000 from that. So maybe about 7,000 or so total contracts. Actually, where's my math there? 10,000. So we got a lot of kind of volume in there. So that 10,000. Yeah, I mean, so 21, so 17. Yeah, probably about that 15 to 17,000th range there if this is an actual closure here at the ask. But I would definitely want to check open interest on that just with that big massive spike there. Again, could be getting out here at the ask. And I mean, I read it as a buy here, but doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're up so high on the day already that your IV is going to kind of be elevated there a little bit too. And I mean, they are filling at the ask. That IV's up. Again, just something you'd want to double check that open interest on tomorrow there, especially after up being over 8% there. Let's see, what else do we got? AG, the 410.21.5 calls. Definitely opening volume 2,000 contracts against 595 open interest contracts. Let's just see, so we got that same timing here, 103.43. Yeah, kind of questionable here too. Again, you get that little IV drop here as that price is increasing a little bit there too. So it's just kind of one of those questionable contracts there. AG's also your silver, First Majestic Silver there, so kind of going off metals, hoping metals get a rebound there. Let's see, the SMCI 23 call. Let's take a peek at these. Let's pop this in here. So 3% out of the money, 24 days. Got 954 contracts here at $1.58. We know it's an opening trade based off that size. So this one, I gotta get a drink here. 1 second, you guys. So this one, I would be a little more cautious with. So I'm looking at that timing here. So it looks like everything starts at that 14, 16, 14. So you get an IV kind of drop when that comes in here. And you just see all that IV is kind of dropping towards the end here. I don't like that. Your spot is filling at the ask here for the most part. You get the one contract filling there at the bid. And that's kind of a very odd random fill in there. Yeah, I don't like that IV kind of dropping there. And it also looks like couple, about a minute later, give or take there. I'm just looking at that sizing here. It's probably all the same person just based off that sizing. There wasn't a lot of trades on this one to begin with there. I mean, very identical sizing throughout this one. I just don't like how I'm seeing that IV kind of decrease throughout that there. And again, you just see all that price is increasing and that IV is decreasing. Just something to kind of be cautious about. Um, yeah, I don't think I like the SMCIs here. Do we have anything else on SMCI? Let's just see. I know this is one of the names that was in the gamma gaps, I believe. Let's just go take a peek. I'm pretty sure it was in the gamma gaps. Yeah, I mean, this thing is primed to rip, though. I mean, just based off the gamma here, I mean, market makers absolutely injecting liquidity into this name, especially back there on the first and second. I mean, massive days. And again, it can take time, but you just kind of see how price tends to gravitate towards those gamma levels there. I mean, it can take time, and then you see those decreases. We start to kind of drop down. It takes time, but just kind of something to always be cautious of. And I mean, like back here, you had some negative gamma days back there on November. I mean, it doesn't necessarily happen right away, but your gap again essentially gets filled. We have a lot of positive gamma up here. A lot of positive gamma. And yeah, Benny, to kind of touch on that, the gamma, I wouldn't just trade strictly based off the gamma. It's just kind of a data point there. I'm looking for like the big spikes to the upside or the downside, and then if you see flow to kind of go along with it, and then kind of mash that with the net call premiums as well. Just try to use as many of these tools as you can. I don't just get married to one strict thing. If I am getting married to one strict thing in here, it's going to be strictly flow. But I mean, for the most part, I mean, I choose my words carefully, but you can kind of get a good read on a lot of these names just by kind of looking at these separate dashboards, like your net call premiums, and then this. It just takes screen time and just tons of time to kind of do that there. Let's see. I don't know um yeah, I see. And I've been doing this for a while, so I mean, you just kind of start to look at different things. So I mean, like, okay, we'll look at the gamma here. Like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of big spikes in the net call or in the gamma here. Like, then let's look at the net premiums. I do it from the overview. I don't do it from that net premium one. Like, let's take a peek here and just see. Okay, well, we had some big spikes in SMCI back here on March 25th and 323. So you saw we had a big drop down here, and again, the price eventually kind of filled that gap, quote unquote, there. So I just fluctuate between the different times. 14 and 30 are probably my 2 days that I'm going to look at, though. 14 is kind of my go-to. But like you just see, like back here on 312, again, big negative gamma, or you see, I will get them confused, not confused, but I mean wording confused, but you see the big drops in the net call premium there. Again, just kind of choppy, kind of choppy, kind of choppy, and then you just kind of see that call outflow. I think of it as above that center line there. Anything above that is technically ask side there, so it would be ask side puts, ask side calls. Anything below that middle line would be bid side calls and bid side puts. I think of it as inflow and outflow. Like anything below this middle line is outflow. Anything above it's inflow. So like, okay, well, you're seeing a lot of outflow of calls coming in here. That's probably not necessarily a good thing. And you just see how price, I mean, eventually just absolutely, and this was news related as well too. There's a news dump on that, but I mean, your price eventually catches up to that. So like right now, I'm paying attention to that 23rd and the 25th and what is this, the 24th there. I mean, you have big spikes in net call premium there, and that price would tend to gravitate up towards that. You have positive gamma as well to go along with that, and then you have flow as well too. So while the flow doesn't always necessarily looks super good, and we can take a peek and see if we can find other flow on it too. Anything interesting here? So that 3-day, yeah, I wouldn't be trying to trade like those big gamma gaps and net premium gaps on like a 3-day contract. I would probably be doing monthlies on something like that. I don't see anything else really for today on that. That one you sent me is kind of your best bet, I'd say there. And again, just because that IV's kind of doing that as well too doesn't always necessarily mean it's not going to work out. It's just something to kind of be cautious of. But like this is why you have kind of those uh, different data points, because now you're combining that flow, the gamma, the net call premiums. It could be good, and these don't overlap earnings either. So I mean, it's interesting flow. It's interesting flow for sure. Um, let's do let's just do a quick Periscope look here, and then I want to hit your other contracts here. I'm blabbing a little. Oh, so okay, well, there we were talking about that 6600 level, how that price will tend to kind of gravitate towards those positive gamma spikes there. Those 6600 calls would technically be in the money now, so we don't really have. Get out of the way. So you have that small gamma level at that 6615. Now, when you get up to these gamma levels too, again, it's like a suppression zone here. So I mean, I would look for price to kind of slow down at these levels. So like now we're coming up to that 6615, and you can see we're kind of slowing down here. And you do have some kind of negative gamma in here. Again, we got market on close coming in here too. So I would just be very cautious in trading the last 10 minutes. I don't really trade the last 10 minutes. Hey, my Nvidia calls did not sell. My limit did not sell. I think these are still pumping, aren't they? All right, I need to move my stop up a little bit. 1 second, you guys. Sorry. I'll take that. I'll take that. It's all you really need on a day like this. Okay. I'm gonna set my stop. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of these before close. I don't know what's gonna happen tonight, so. All right, let's get through your other ones here quick. So the cipher 5-1-14-5 call. I like when Periscope works out for us on the live streams. It's very nice. Oh, I don't want to copy me. There we go. So cipher, I'll kind of just go through these. I don't want to overlap too much here. 5% on the money, 24 days. Definitely opening volume, 1,800 contracts against 69 open contracts, 100% an opening trade. Now let's take a peek at this. So again, one of those kind of odd ones where that IV decreases when it comes in. Spot fills at the ask though. How much is this? Let's see. So that's 2% of the total premium. I mean, what time do these come in? 10:30, 10:35. So it looks like this little spike in here is from that one here. So I mean, they've been adding to that pretty much all day there to the overall name. These already kind of ran, and again, good example here too, where if I'm looking at that IV, it decreased here. Like if I was looking at these in real time, again, this is something where I'd be like, okay, it's probably risky flow there, just with that IV kind of dropping there. Again, they're filling up the ask there. Um, yeah, see, like in real time, Benny, like I would it raise caution to me that that IV kind of dropped when it came in, but this is just an example of that doesn't always necessarily mean anything. Again, I mean, look at they're up now. I mean, 89, they're trading at 123 now. So I mean, they ran like if you would have had a lot of net call premium on the name at the time as well too, that would have probably kind of backed it up and I would have went with it. But like here, I mean, you're just getting that little small stair step there. It's not a significant amount. So I mean, it's a good trade, but it didn't line up fully there. All right, let's do the RGTIs here quick for you. Yeah, it's not 100% a science where it's going to work every single time. All right, let's do this. RGTI, again, another one that looks like it's already kind of moved. opening flow, 2,600 contracts against 31 open interest contracts, $1.18 per contract. Let's take a peek at these. So these ones I like a little bit better. So we do, it's saying it's a descending fill. So let's just go find that in here. But IV spikes when it comes in. Spot is filling with the ask. Let's just see if we can go find that descending fill here. So it looks like it's on one contract and it's coming in at the bid. So the one contract, not a huge issue. It's only 117 bucks out of that total, what was it, 317K? Probably not a significant chunk of that trade there. So like this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying I look to see what's kind of making that name decrease. So I mean it's decreasing here at the end, but it's only one contract. So I mean it's not really a notable chunk of that trade that's causing that. And you just see how that IV kind of comes back up here too on that bigger premium and size there too. So I mean I would have read these as a buy here. And let's, oh, sorry, I need to go back here. I'm going to look at this one. So again, and at the time of this one, so 10 o'clock, 10:05, look at the big spike it caused in the net call premium there. This is something that would catch my eye there. It's 9% of the total premium, a pretty good chunk of the day's premium there. So like you see the big spike there, and this one, the only thing that would have maybe drawn a little caution to me is kind of seeing those put premiums up with it there too. Doesn't necessarily make me not want to take the trade, but just that flow not 100%, clear there. They're in the money now. All right, let me catch up on the chat here. Yeah, no, it's I just combine the different dashboards. That's the best way to do it. Let's see the IV barely. I it just kind of for your question. Let's see, the IV barely decrease. Should we eliminate it? I mean it depends from flow to flow there. I mean it's how many contracts are making it decrease. It's like that's kind of where combining the multiple dashboards and knowing if there's any other flow on the name come in handy there too. Just kind of looking at the net premiums there. I mean, there's just if you got to sit and kind of question it, I always just kind of pass on it. Yeah, and I mean that's okay too. I mean, there's plenty of times where that IV does decrease and the contract runs still too. I mean, it's not 100% a science. Like it's not gonna work every single time. Like the Avgo puts from yesterday, they were pretty textbook. Their IV increased and everything, and they didn't work out so far. I mean, it's just kind of watching that. Let's see. Yeah, no, if the larger decreases, I mean, just kind of see like what size is causing that decrease in the IV. See like if it's only one contract out of like 10,000, like it's probably not significant. And then if it's like, let's just say like 1,000 contracts out of like 5,000 or something, it's something that should kind of catch your eye. Just kind of think about it like, okay, well the flow is like it's I'm trying to think of how to word it or good there. I mean, just like try to think how big is this portion of the trade that's causing the IV spike or drop. Oh, I had to get a drink there. Like that spike or drop. And look at that. We came up to that 6,615 it looks like. Maybe came close in there. 6. We didn't really hit that, but it's growing there. So like you can see we got our update a couple minutes ago. It grew there. So I mean if it was earlier in the day and we pulled back down to that 6,600, I would probably be targeting that 66.15 there, but we're coming up to that 66.15. Yeah, see, I mean, we are just pumping into close here, and kind of goes back and shows you. Also, yeah, we did get, let's see, senior Iranian official per Axios Tehran positively reviewing Pakistan's request for a 2-week ceasefire. Where did that go? Oh, let's see. Trump is aware of Pakistan's proposal. Axios citing Levitt. Levitt says response will come. Okay, that didn't really give me any information. Just trying to catch up. There's just so many headlines. I mean, that's why I was like, be smart about your trades. Let's see. Remember reviewing. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah, I mean, I have to see. I mean, a lot can change. A lot can change. All right, let's see. I need to sell my Nvidia calls here quick too. Sorry. I don't want to open up in my broker yet. Let's just go look at my. Oh yeah, I am gonna take these off. Yeah, I'm gonna sell these here. Yeah, good little trade there. Good little trade there. All right. Nvidia calls secured, profit secured. So I don't have to stress about anything overnight. So I mean that's good there. Yeah, and I mean like these QQQ, like you haven't seen them exit there. So I mean you don't know what's fully going on. Could they have could it have been a hedge? Could it still be a hedge? Possibly. You just don't know. You just don't know. Yeah, what a fun day. Today was a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday was so bad. Let's just look at our volume right now as we get closer to the day. So I mean, yeah, although that volume's pretty better than yesterday. I mean, we're still about half of that 30-day average. So don't get too excited about a big run up here until we get through this. Yeah, oh man, they moved that up even a little bit more, that 66.50. Obviously, you're not going to get that run there in a minute, but that's just very interesting there. Yeah, you see how that price kind of came up here and just kind of hit the little softy there and rejected on that. But yeah, I mean that was a perfect call out on Periscope. I'll just come back here when we were kind of below that. We were looking at that. We were looking at that 6600 there. We waited for that update and just kind of said, look at how that's growing there. And we were down here. I mean, you're trading at that 65.91. I mean, you trade that up to 6600. I mean, it's a $10 move. It's not a massive gainer, but I mean, you trade that on a 0 DTE. I mean, you get some big moves on those contracts. Jeez, what a rally into the end of the day. And I bet you, I'm going to look at these Intel calls right before I hop off. I bet these are green now, and I'm going to be mad at myself. Oh, not green yet, 104. I mean, 74. Yeah, they're so short dated where theta just eats them away intraday. But, alright, you guys, thanks for hanging out. We'll see what transpires tonight, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great evening.